Hello, everybody. So, what do you guys want to talk about today? Now, I ask you guys rather routinely, like in every single video, to comment below. Let me know if there's anything you guys like, that you don't like, that you want to hear, that you want me to just shut the hell up about. And thank you guys for that. So, the reason why I say this is that today actually came from a subscriber's comment asking about what do I think are some of the best crypto for long-term investing. I kind of struggled on even wanting to do this one, to be completely transparent about things, because that's not the way I invest crypto, right? I had definitely thought about, okay, if I'm going to do day trading or long-term investing, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin in this video, FYI. Like, what would I do? And I kind of have one that I'm willing to do long-term, or at least I'm going to definitely rebuy, because in that case, I probably have two or more that I'd be willing to. But at best, one is on this list of what I'd be willing to do long-term and just like every week or every month, put a little bit in if that's the way I wanted to invest. So that's the way I interpreted this question. So what I'm going to talk about today is it was either 5, maybe it was 6 with an honorable mention of crypto that if I was going to go ahead and do long-term investing into crypto, which ones would I pick and a little bit as to why. The first thing I'm going to do in this video is tell you not really my criteria, but kind of like my mindset of how did I get to the coins I'm going to talk about. So if you really want to be a degen and just zip through the whole how and why component and get to the crypto, obviously be my guest. I can't stop you from doing anything. But this way you do understand like where was I coming from? Because what I might think of makes a good long-term investment might be different from you guys. So this whole video came from somebody commenting. So if there's anything you want to be heard about, tell me, ask me, etc. Please put in the comments below. If you've seen me a couple times come up on your news feed and you've listened for a few minutes, please do subscribe. If you find anything valuable or useful of my videos, I really do appreciate it. Press the like button, ring the little ding things to get notified when I decide to ramble more about crypto. Happens at least 3 times a week, by the way. Go ahead and feel free to do so. Let's jump into this video, right? The list below I have is like what I would buy now, not at the best time, because if I'm thinking long-term investing like stocks, right, I have a financial advisor for stocks, and I just give him a couple $100 every month, right? And he just puts it in the same stocks, right? And to build up equity and everything over time. That's the way I'm perceiving this question. That's the way I'm going to go ahead and answer it. So it's not like, well, now it's not a good time to buy it, or it'll be a better time later. The answer to that, either of those could be yes. So things that makes a good long-term investment to me for a crypto. Is there a reason to consistently buy? And not just me, like other people consistently buy, right? Like ETFs. That's a big one, right? If there's not too many that actually have an ETF right now, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there are ones that have filed or rumors for it. That does not automatically put it on this list for me. That definitely helps it, right? Because that lets me know there's reasons why other people are going to constantly buy it to add conviction that it's going to continuously go up. Or I don't actually know which way the camera's here is, which way it looks best. Either way. So that's a big one for me. Or anything that decreases the risk. Like, is there institutional involvement? Are banks testing or signing up to use this crypto? Are multiple large companies or an entire like occupation using this? Is this going to be the next AI coin that is going to cause all storage to increase 5x? All right. Is this going to be the tokenization coin that everyone's looking at for the next, not just this bull run, but next 20 years? Is it going to help someone tokenize the stock market? I'm foreshadowing a couple things here, guys, if you haven't picked up on that. Right? These are things, is a long-term reason for other people with money far more than me to keep putting into it over time. That, to me, is something that makes a great long-term crypto investment. Okay? Another one, this does already have proven longevity. Again, not every coin on my list today is going to hit that, but most of them will. Meaning, has it survived the bear market? That is one of the best tests for crypto. When everything goes to shit, no one believes in crypto except for like 4 people, or those 4 people buying these coins. And to me, again, that's a big deal. If you go back and look at my video of safe crypto, right? That was another big criteria. And a lot of crypto that I think are going to be good for long term, they have to be safe, right? I'm not going to put a risky asset, which, by the way, I'm playing with the idea of doing a good risky crypto non-memes, All right, video. So that's something you're interested in, comment down below. I might pop that one out in the next week or two. But man, what's the risk of it? Pretty much all these little characteristics are identifying, right? So is there a strong community? XRP Army, H Barbarians, Over Legends. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of others in coins that I haven't researched as deeply, but if they give yourself a freaking name and you're part of a little party or a group, there's a lot of people that are there invested into it. It helps for long term, says this coin's probably going to survive down the road for long-term investing. And another big one to me is there a real world use? Meaning I don't have on this list Shiba or Doge because Doge specifically does not fall in this mold. I guess now you can kind of say it's a real world use because Elon Musk made an entire freaking job and branch of the government in it, at least in with its name. But is there a reason why it's going to be used? Is it going to be profitable in the real world? Specifically, if no one who has ever heard of crypto is using it without knowing. Like there's a couple of crypto that's trying to target healthcare transactions of data storage and all of this. Like that could be really good ones. I've got one in mind for that yet, but it's not battle tested enough to put me on this list. It actually hasn't even launched yet. But there's a couple to keep an eye on, guys, down the road, right? So that's what I'm thinking about in terms of long-term investing. Now let's get to the list. All right, this first one was another one I almost didn't pick just because I thought it was going to be kind of a duh thing. But there's enough FUD and people shit-talking Ethereum for me to put this on the list because, guys, Ethereum's not going anywhere. So many people are like, oh, Ethereum's going to die. It's too slow. It's too expensive. The too expensive part, I hear you. I'm going to tell you, spend another 5 seconds in thinking because I think you're wrong, right? I mean, Ethereum's expensive, right? Blanket statement. The gas fees, if you guys have ever tried to trade on Ethereum, it's nuts. You almost spend as much money as you're trying to put into it at times. It's ridiculous. However, institutions have kind of already picked Ethereum. There are so many large institutions, corporations that run on Ethereum. And if you don't believe me, it's because you don't realize how big the list is. There is a whole narrative of crypto. Seriously, a whole category of crypto made to make Ethereum cheaper. A couple of you, by 20% of you at least own one of these. They're called layer 2s, right? There are 73 active Ethereum layer 2s that their whole job is to make Ethereum cheap enough to make it worth using. Right, that's 73 companies just used to help bring in more companies. And, there's a whole other like 82 projects roughly in the making to do the same thing. Ethereum's going freaking nowhere, guys. It has an EFT. Corporations, investments, Roth IRAs, or normal IRAs, all these little acronyms in stocks and investing use Ethereum. This has got to be, other than Bitcoin, the most obvious long-term play. If Ethereum goes under, crypto's done. I mean, like literally, the apocalypse happened. Everyone's now, the 1,000 people are left in the world are now living on Mars. Like, I mean, Ethereum is here to stay. Not saying it's going to be the biggest price action mover, but for long-term investing, it's always going to go up. More people are always using it. There's always things happening to it. And I mean, some of the layer 2s are even ones that are talked about for this cycle to do well. Like, I can't pronounce this one, Arbitrum or Arbitrum. Sorry, guys, for those that are in that one. But Optimism, Polygon, Starknet. These are some of the larger ones. And some of those are expected to do really well. If they do well, so does Ethereum because it runs on it. Right? It's incredibly well known. Most people who aren't in crypto at all, everyone's heard of a Bitcoin. Most people have heard of Doge or Shiba, even if they don't know the difference. And everyone else has also heard of Ethereum. Just the fact that the common person knows it is a big freaking deal. So again, a lot of people use this one as a long term, and I think it's a good use of it. So here I've got the all-time chart for Ethereum. All right, so here we've got, let's put it this way so we can see. All right, beginning of the first cycle, we'll call it, goes flatlined. It does this thing. Wow, Ethereum hit an all-time high back then in 2018 at almost $1,300. Wouldn't it be great if it got there again now? Scoop that shit up, right? And then it crashed. You can see the lines. It's up higher than it was back here. We're going to see that same pattern, right? And then we had the big bull run last time. It did its thing, hit over 4.5K, whatever. And then look how much higher the line is here versus back between the last bull runs, right? I'm expecting you to see the same thing. It's going to be all the way up here. And then maybe our next line for Ethereum is going to be here in the bear market. Great long-term investment, I think, is Ethereum. Let's get to the next one. So again, you guys have been with me. You know I'm a huge fan of HBAR. Let's talk about in terms of a good long-term investment. So there are ETFs filed by Canary and a couple others, rumors about it. Again, one of these gets passed. Awesome. We know there's constantly be money coming into HBAR. This is one that if I get stuck with my bag because it doesn't hit my price ranges, I think it will, because a lot of people who are big in HBAR have higher sell limits than I do on this one. But if I don't hit these, I'm okay running in this one into the bear market in the next cycle. It's because I really think this is a good long-term investment, right? I'm planning on selling it, but I wouldn't be upset if this is one that I get stuck with, right? It is being looked at for so many things down the road. Speculatively, BlackRock and large tokenizations and the US digital dollar, all of that appears that it might be using Hedera for part of it. Same thing with XRP. Like they're very likely to be used in some amount or quantity for this. And as soon as a crypto gets tied to a large bank, a governing body, even just if it was an independent state, right? That's so bullish for a long-term play. Plus, HBAR's got so many fucking partnerships, guys. I've talked about the governing council before, so if you're not familiar with it, these are the groups, the companies that are on the governing council of Hedera to help support the direction it goes, how it's used, and almost all of them have an active partnership with the crypto itself. And the ones that don't are kind of expected to. You know, it's like when there's unwritten rules of, if you join the governing council, I'm going to help dictate where we go. Do something with the blockchain, and most of them doing well, right? We have Aberdeen, freaking huge. It's right behind BlackRock in terms of asset management. Australian Payment Plus. Hedera is kind of right there with Quant of looking like it's going to help run the digital Australian dollar. There we go. Avery Dennison. We got BitGo. We've got Google, Hitachi, EDF. We have Shinhan Bank, Standard Bank, we have Dell, we have LG, we have Ubisoft, WorldPlay, Wipro. These are massive freaking companies, guys. There's almost no chance that Hedera is going to go down or disappear. Great long-term, and I think it's going to continue going up. It's kind of done that between the bear markets, but I mean, this is the time where all the handshaking and deal making they've made is starting to really come into play, and it's going to start coming to fruition. We're watching it happen now. And there's going to be HederaCon coming up in, I think it's February 25th, where it's all just about, hey, let's talk about Hedera, move it forward, and shill it. Like they're just going to talk about how great it's going to be and what's going to happen to it. So expect that at the end of the month, let alone it's an ISO 20022 coin. Real brief, you don't know what that is. Starting on March 10th, all banks need to run this new messaging system to talk to each other called ISO 20022. And there is a whole group of crypto that was made just with that in mind to help run the banking coins. Hedera is one of them. Same thing with Quant, XRP, XLM, IOTA, Algorand, like all those Dino coins have jumped up. And so between HederaCon and then 2.5 weeks later being where all banks are now going to be using this infrastructure in their systems, very bullish for it. I think we're going to have a big spike with it. But let's see. Hedera is also part of the Digital Euro Association. Not saying it's officially going to be running the digital euro, but it's part of the freaking club, right? Read between the lines. I mean, that one's a pretty obvious one, right? Even if it's not chosen to be the blockchain, Hashgraph, whatever, that's running the euro, the digital euro, it's got money in the game and it's playing with it somehow in that one. All right, guys, it looks like it hypothetically could end up helping out the Australia stable coin. Right? It's setting up to potentially be part of the digital dollar, as I mentioned before. And it is in so many narratives. So we talk about what is a good narrative this bull run or next bull run or down the future. What if it's in fucking all of them? Right? I mean, right now it's in real world assets, in tokenization, it's in AI because it's got partnerships with NVIDIA, IBM. It's in entertainment with Karate Combat and a couple other things, building NFTs. It's in everything. HBAR is not going anywhere. Next one, another one that I don't own, but boy, is this a safe crypto and great for long term. EFTs, eminent, and we're talking XRP. We can kind of talk XLM on this one too, because it's essentially the sister coin doing almost the exact same thing. So I have to simply put what XRP is, because I don't think I've talked about it on this channel at all. Right? But it helps make international payments faster and cheaper going from banks to banks. So in traditional bank transfers, a lot of times they take days worth and high fees. This happens in seconds at a fraction of the cost, which is why when Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, got kicked out, he quit. This is when XRP and HBAR skyrocketed, because now they know, hey, we can actually start doing this and running banks. Like I said, the ISO regulation is going to start hitting, where banks will start using the ISO program. Right. So XLM does the same thing as XRP, but more on a private person-to-person level versus a bank-to-bank level internationally. So it's got a real-world use. It's going to be used extensively, assuming banks sign up for it. It's one of those things that's unofficially official, right? So XRP's got this XRP ledger. It's a blockchain that transactions things in a couple of seconds to almost no fee. Every couple thousand transactions is a fraction of a penny. Right? And it's incredibly energy efficient and scalable, which really just means it helps keeps the price down of everything. Right? Again, this is banks and payment providers. Things like Triangulo, Santander are going to be using these every day. It's got its own Ripple network to help move money across different borders, so we don't have to worry about as much of the pain if we're trying to send wire from one side of the country to the other side. It's going to be used expectedly massively. XRP was it was a stable coin. It was locked in because of a lawsuit for the better part of 6 years, and people still held it, right? Boy, the hodlers in XRP are the most dedicated crypto guys going. Nothing good happened for 6 years, and they kept it. It essentially did nothing last bull run. Yeah, go ahead and look. It did a little bit, but in all reality, the fact that so many people held so much of it is impressive. And I would have no concerns putting money into XRP every week and know that in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, I've got more money than I would have just by keeping in my bank, excluding the whole inflation thing, right? Next, told you guys this one was going to be here. Quant, my favorite altcoin. I'm just going to be louder about that, because every time I say it's my favorite altcoin, someone gets pissed off about it, which, seriously, if your butt gets hurt because I like an investment, I don't even know what you're doing with your life. So yeah, I fucking love Quant, guys. So this is the one that if I would put something in every paycheck into other than Bitcoin, it would be Quant. I personally am that convicted into this coin for a long-term place. It's going to do pretty well this bull run. There's definitely going to be crypto that's going to do better. I've got my sell limit set, so if Quant hits all my limits, I'll say goodbye to all of it. And then wait to see how far it goes down. After about 70% its all-time high, I'll start scooping it back up in troves. Okay, but what Quant does is it's the king of interoperability, right? So it connects blockchains to each other. It connects banks to each other. It connects governments to other governments, businesses to other businesses, and all of that to each other. So it connects blockchains to governments, businesses to banks, banks to blockchains, banks to businesses, to the blockchains to the governments. It's going to be kind of what things like XRP does or uses to move everything around. Quant already has partnerships with MasterCard and Visa. And every time one of these banks or financial institutions or anything sends money across their ledger, they use a little bit of Quant. So it's going to have a constant use. Quant's going to be used, which keeps everything moving, going around, so no one actually just hodls it except for things like staking, which they've announced that they're going to be staking. We just don't know details about it yet. When I hear about it, I'll let you guys know for sure. There's a lot of governments that have been testing Quant for the security of the blockchain, digital currencies. Right? So Quant's a big one that's going to be around, I feel, for a long ass time. It has a fixed supply of 14.6 million. No more can get created. So it's going to keep it scarce, especially when things are getting used. Right? Bank of International Settlements, Bank of London, Bank of Japan, helps run all of Project Rosalind, which is created to help run CBDCs, digital dollars, whatever you want to call them, run regulation for the conversion into the digital dollar. And then, not for nothing, the CEO, Gilbert Veridian, he's a freaking boss, guys. I mean, he is straight up, no bullshit. He's got decades of experience in cybersecurity. He is, we'll call it drinking buddies with the heads of like MasterCard, PwC, the freaking United Kingdom government. His network is so deep, which is how they got, one of the ways they got as far as they did right now. And for this bull run, I've said this before, I think it's going to get somewhere on the low end of $400, somewhere to the high end of just under $1,000, like $950. But if we're talking 5 years down the road, end of next bull run, I could easily see $2 to $5 grand. I can even go moon boyish on a lot more of that, depending on how many digital dollar currencies and governments pick it up. But I mean, Quant, I'm telling you, is going to be a large one. I don't care if you believe me or not. Someone asked me my opinion. This is my opinion. I think it's a phenomenal long-term play, and it's the one that I, of all these, would be willing to do. All right, let's throw a curveball into this one, right? One I don't think I've talked about at all on this channel, Bittensor Tau. I do not own any of this one. I'll look at it in the bear market. I think this is a great long-term play. It's been considered like the Bitcoin of AI. It's not actually the Bitcoin of AI, but it's got a pretty good use that it appears to be having more companies and actually even blockchains jump on board with, which it's needed. So I guess I'll put a little asterisk on this one because I think this is building up to be a great long-term play. Probably the riskiest one out of all of these, in my opinion. But I'm talking a pretty minimal risk when I'm talking, when I'm speaking about the actual likelihood of this, just compared to the other ones like Quant, I'm positive about. You can't change my mind on it. Bittensor Tau, I could hear an argument, but I would still be comfortable putting money in this one constantly and just watching it grow. So what does it do? The main thing that it does is it creates a decentralized AI network. So think of it, instead of having a bunch of big tech companies like Google or OpenAI that controls all the AI, Bittensor Tau is going to allow everyone to contribute computing power, modules, and data into it. They have kind of like the way Wikipedia started, right, where everyone could put a little bit into it and information. That's what Bittensor Tau is trying to do with AI. So it's trying to pretty much replace Google and all this for it. And it could definitely be done as OpenAI, ChatGPT, DeepSync, any of them put their stuff onto or into Bittensor Tau, where they just take it themselves. But it could kind of be the central focus for all AI. And it also it's going to reward people for contributing to the AI. So it encourages people to put in accurate information, right? Oh, you keep contributing into the AI or GPU power, have some Tau, right? And a lot, so people are using it, right? We've got AI researchers and developers that contribute AI models on a daily basis that are rewarding, and then they use more of the Tau. Multiple business, crypto miners and stakers. The staking aspect is big to, again, put in GPU power and everything into help feeding Tau. And the whole point of crypto to begin with was decentralization, right? So Bittensor is trying to decentralize AI, which I was going to say stop the monopoly of it, which technically would make a monopoly of it, but it's decentralized, so no one actually runs it. But that's what it's looking at doing. And I think it is a great goal long-term, and I think it's going to do it, to be honest. It's the largest one. It's a big name for it. A lot of people are already involved into this one. So if you want a long-term AI play, things can always change, but I would look into Bittensor Tau. Lastly, again, I kind of insinuated or directly told you guys this one was coming. So this is the crypto that of the criteria put at the beginning doesn't hit all of them, but because of the backing it has and what everyone's talking about it's trying to do, or the people that are financially supporting it's trying to do, I think it's going to be around for a long effing time. And I'm talking Ondo Finance. All right. So when all shit hit the fan with crypto recently, this is the one that I put the most into. I put a little bit into Quant. I put a small amount into Render, small amount into Aerodrome, but I put the most back into Ondo. All right. So in simple terms, what does Ondo do? It's trying to tokenize everything. Yes, HBAR is big into tokenization. It is going to be tokenizing a lot. But Ondo is pretty much not being puppeteered, but you can probably kind of say that by BlackRock. And BlackRock's goal is to tokenize literally everything, from stocks and bonds, the entire stock market, from cars, the socks and underwear you're wearing right now, they would tokenize if they could. And what this is, tokenization is converting any asset into a blockchain-based token. So yeah, I mean, it wants to put everything on a blockchain, and they're going to be successful at this, guys. I mean, they are really running hard on this. The amount of just VCs and government bodies that are behind Ondo, this is not going anywhere. I'm not saying the price action is going to be $100 a coin, $1,000 a coin, but as a good long-term investment, I mean, it's at $1.40-ish last time I looked. My average is above the dollar mark. I mean, there's people in a lot earlier than me, and I'm hoping that they all sell. They will. Most of them will. Right? And I'll just continue dropping in this one, at least till the end of the bull run. But they're trying to tokenize the world. And the amount of push they have behind it, they're going to be very successful in this endeavor. Because now you can start saving up and purchasing bonds from right now, not officially, but looks like they're likely to be tokenizing bonds for the US government. Ondo can do that too, like the European government, Australian government, Japanese, just more and more funds coming in. Those are the kind of things that keeps a crypto project or company alive for decades, guys, right? They already have a tokenized US Treasury bond called OUSG. And they already have a stable coin that's being backed right now by the US Treasury, USDY. It's kind of hard to get right now, but I'm expecting we're going to see a lot about it in the end of this year. They released Ondo Nexus, which is a whole liquidity hub for tokenizing everything, again, from your cars, your stocks, your bonds, to your underwear, right? They are talking about tokenizing, again, the stock market. I cannot get over how cool that's going to be from like a nerdy technical standpoint. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But in terms of one of the newer cryptos, I'm very confident in this. I had XRP on this list. They partnered with XRP, right? They're going to be helping out running on the XRP ledger. And they're also integrated fully now with PayPal as well. So Ondo is another huge one. I'm expecting great things from it from the long term. So sorry this was a little bit of a longer video. If you guys stuck with me, thank you. I appreciate it. I do this. I would say I do this in part for you guys, right? I started this whole thing for me, honestly. I have no problems admitting this was a selfish endeavor because I was already typing up, Google Docking, and recording videos of things I was researching and talking about. However, I thought, let's do this for other people to hear too. So I appreciate you guys being here for me, right? If you've been here a couple of times or you really enjoyed this as your first time, please do subscribe, press the like button, share this with anyone that you think might find it interesting or hearing this serenading sound in my voice. And I'll see you all again soon.